Everyone knows dismissive avoidants are not the best at showing their real feelings. So, how do you know when a dismissive avoidant even has real feelings or if they're just kind of along for the ride? Well, in today's video, we are going to break that down in detail. You are going to learn exactly the specific things dismissive avoidants tend to do when they develop real feelings. And even though they may seem subtle, at the end of this video, you're not going to feel confused. In this video, I want to talk to you a little bit about what dismissive avoidant attachment styles tend to say when they're falling in love with somebody. And what's really interesting is I've had a lot of requests for this series, and all different attachment styles tend to have a different relationship to what falling in love actually feels like to them and the different internal experience they have accordingly. So, because everything is very subjective in our lives based on our own internal subconscious programming, what you'll see is dismissive avoidants tend to have certain things that pop up when they're falling in love, namely in the form of fears. And so the filter of the way that they express their love through, or the filter they express their love through, the way this will sort of be depicted on the other end is that they'll communicate with some of these fears attached. So we're going to talk about some phrases that I've commonly heard in my client-based practice in the past, as well as things that different students have mentioned in the school and workshops, things like this, as they're really starting to develop strong feelings. And we'll really unpack what this is all about. So one of the first things is that dismissive avoidants will tend to communicate in like a distilled way. And I've had literally countless conversations with DAs over the years who have said things like, when I'm really unpacking their internal reality with them, who have said things like, oh, I feel like a tremendous amount of feelings towards somebody. But then they'll express themselves. And when they express themselves to that person, it's almost like that fear of vulnerability really like constricts the way that they express themselves. So in a client session with me, when there's no, vulnerability towards their partner and, there's no like, fears attached to me really, then I'll hear somebody say like, I'm really feeling feelings of love. Like I've never felt like this. I can't imagine myself like not having this person in my life. And I'm terrified of like the relationship failing in some way. And then they'll talk to me about how they express to their partner that they're really developing these strong feelings. And they'll say things like, I'm really happy in this relationship. And I'll be like, what about the things you told me? And they'll say things like, well, I did say that to them. And what DAs are not realizing is this subconscious, again, lens that they tend to sort of almost express information through, because that lens consists of subconscious programming that entails the fear of vulnerability, then it really gets like almost like a constrained expression of the external words. So one of the common phrases that you'll often hear dismissive avoidants say when they're starting to fall in love and really develop strong feelings is they'll actively talk about the relationship more. So they'll say things like, I'm really happy in this relationship. I feel really lucky to have you. And those tend to be very common phrases. Another big one that you'll see, oh, and by the way, okay, so I want to share something super exciting with you, which is that we are doing a full 7-day free trial to PDS. But also along with that, if you sign up for the trial, you can even cancel before day 7 and you get free access for life. In other words, you get to keep our attachment styles and sex course. This course goes into all the patterns and themes around each attachment style and intimacy, their fears, their triggers, what's important to them, what they're looking for. And this is more than a $200 value you get to keep for free for life just by checking out our 7-day free trial. Check out the link below if you don't want to miss it. We are only doing this for this month and this month only. So anyways, you'll hear things like, I'm really happy in this relationship. I feel really lucky to have you. I haven't felt like this before. This is another really common one for dismissive avoidance. And again, this is like, it's like what is going on inside or, not being expressed to somebody that they're afraid to be vulnerable to because they feel like that person like has so much power over them because they feel so much towards that person. What you'll hear in a client session is something like, I definitely am in love with this person. And they won't say it, they won't go over the top and talk about this in a tremendous amount of detail, but they'll say like, I feel feelings of love for sure. They'll definitely more openly express. And then to their partner, they'll often say things like, I haven't felt like this before. So again, it's this very like distilled, it's almost like the reeled in version by 70%. They're almost like expressing 30% of their inner worlds. Because they don't tend to have over the top expression. Another thing you'll hear, especially as they're kind of more falling in love, is like, wow, I really enjoy our time together. And you'll often hear things like, yeah, like I really look forward to seeing you. You know, I miss you when we're not together, or things like that. And those are all this for a DA is very vulnerable expression. And then one of the last things that you'll commonly hear is, I really don't want anything bad to happen. And it's because like dismissive avoidance in their history of programming, when they really felt attachment, they often felt neglect. And that neglect caused them to have to push somebody away as a strategy to sort of feel like, okay, I'm back in control of how I feel, because just being open and vulnerable to somebody who's neglecting and rejecting me doesn't feel good. So their stored subconscious associations relative to attachment are generally quite negative. And so sometimes when they start to really feel feelings, some of these underlying subconscious sort of previously dormant fears will pop up towards the surface. And this is where you'll hear a lot of like, I don't want anything bad to happen, because they're kind of seeing through that lens of like, I feel a lot and I know what comes next and it's not good. And so I start to sometimes express those fears. And these are generally, when you're hearing this with a partner, a really good time to talk about needs, to facilitate open and healthy communication, to try to work to understand each other better. Because when a DA feels like they can solve problems through communication, they actually see that, hey, a lot of these fears are actually solvable problems. But when that doesn't happen and there isn't a progression towards more vulnerable, but also types of communication that allow a problem to be worked through and resolved, then dismissive avoidants start to feel like, oh my goodness, what would I do? And they can sort of go into restraint and self-protection mode. If you're somebody who's truly interested in helping others while also securing financial freedom for your future, there is a limited time option to join our 50% off certified relationship coach program. And this is a 12-week program where you can create financial freedom, work from anywhere in the world, and truly make an impact on other individuals' lives by becoming a certified relationship coach in just 12 weeks. Throughout this entire 12 weeks, you will learn all of the tools that you need to discover somebody's attachment style and help them heal and change their attachment style if they are insecurely attached, so that they can become secure and build the best relationships of their life. On top of that, you'll learn all about the subconscious mind and how to actually rewire our painful limiting beliefs, our painful behavioral patterns, and help your clients learn their relationship needs, as well as the needs of their loved ones. You'll also learn how to build a thriving coaching practice and set yourself up for long-term success. You'll learn all of the business tips and tools you need to build funnels, leverage marketing strategies, and really thrive in the marketplace. Even if you have absolutely no coaching experience, this certification will give you everything you need starting from scratch to become a thriving relationship coach. You can find more using the link down below. So hopefully this made a lot of sense to you, and let me know any questions you might have in the comments down below. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video.